Today I'm going to show you how to bring your beast to life and paint some realistic fur that'll make your miniature go from flat plastic to a fierce predator. Let's paint the white lion from Kingdom Death Monster. Welcome back to Warforged Miniatures. Today we're going to paint the fur on my white lion from Kingdom Death Monster. I'm really going to focus today's video on teaching you how I built the fur and how I painted it all. I'm not going to go through the whole painting process of the white lion, but you will get to see the final reveal at the end. So let's get into it. I started by priming the miniature black and then doing a white zenithal over the top with some white ink. And then after doing a little research, there's a few different ways that you can make white fur. A lot of people paint white going up from grays or light blues. To start with a brown and go up from a brown, so the deep layers are a little bit more of a brown earth tone instead of like a gray or a blue. So I started with this speed paint satchel brown from Army Painter, and I airbrushed that over the zenithal highlight. Okay, the next step and the first real step of the process is starting to get a base layer of fur across the lion. The real key to fur and making it look like fur is adding a lot of texture to the model. One trick I saw is getting a flat brush like the one I'm using here. It will create more than one strand of hair at a time, essentially, allowing you to create a softer vibe underneath. The real trick to making these hairs look like hair and not like straight lines is to kind of make sure that you keep the brushes short and kind of sweep them off to different sides and kind of change the sizes and shapes of the brush strokes as you go through. Another really important trick is to make sure you follow the direction of the fur. So you don't want to come in and go in a bunch of different directions. You want to follow along the direction the fur would grow. So on the arms, you see that I'm going down towards the hands or towards the paws. And then on the back, I'm going back towards the butt. I'm making sure to go through and hit all the spots that would receive any kind of light. Although Kingdom Death does take place in like a really dark environment, I'm not really painting it that way. I'm just kind of painting an overall white lion. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, I'm not using pure white. I'm using deck tan from Vallejo, and I'm also using a little bit mixed in of that satchel brown for the first layer. And now in the next layer, I'm going to just add more of the deck tan. This layer I switched to a smaller brush, and I start adding individual strokes along the entire miniature. This takes a while, but the process is pretty relaxing, honestly, because you're just going through and adding little brush strokes. And the nice thing about painting fur is it can be forgiving. You don't have to be perfect. You're gonna make some strokes that don't look right, and you can just cover them up with more fur over the top, essentially. So it's really nice to kind of go through and just paint this fur. And again, make sure you follow the direction of the fur, painting a little bit less of all the areas you painted previously with this lighter mix. Another thing to keep in mind is because lions have shorter hair, my strokes are shorter. But when I'm painting the mane, I make sure that the strokes go a little bit longer, like the hair on the mane would be. This just kind of gives it that overall general feel of hair instead of just random lines. Now, after you finish that layer, again, you're just going to repeat the process, adding more deck tan in and highlighting up again. And I just repeated this another time, again with just more deck tan, almost pure deck tan at this point. And then one more time on the face with a little bit of titanium white mixed into the mix, just to really make it pop in the facial area and on some of the shoulders and in the mane. Like I said earlier, this was a really relaxing process. I really enjoyed painting the fur on this, and it's something I'm looking forward to doing more of in the future. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you mess up at all, you can just kind of darken over it, especially with white fur, because it's super easy to kind of cover it up. You can darken over it or go back in with smaller strokes of the brown satchel and kind of add like little shadow strokes in. So there's a lot of leeway with fur, and I really enjoy that because you don't have to be as precise and pay as much attention in every aspect of it, so you can kind of enjoy yourself while you're painting. It's something that if you have like a bunch of horses to paint or something like that, I feel like that will be kind of like relaxing almost. While it does take some time, it's a little time consuming, I think the results in the end make up for that, and it just like really looks cool when the texture of the fur is on there, and it really does look like fur, and it's cool that it all comes together like that. And again, I want to emphasize the strokes that you're making. You want to kind of hook out to the right, hook out to the left, and change the directions, the sizes, and the shapes of them so that every hair kind of looks like a bunch of different hairs going in different directions. And like you're seeing me do here, I'm just kind of like dragging down slightly and then kind of twisting off to the side, twisting off to the left, kind of keeping it more in the middle, and just kind of changing that up as I go. Another cool thing about this model particularly is that he's just a white lion, so there's not a ton of extra detail to go on, and I didn't even really film any of that. The only other extra details on this lion are the eyes, the teeth, and the claws, which I just painted with a slightly more yellow white, essentially, just to kind of make them look a little bit different than the rest of the miniature. So after I finished all of the fur, I just went in and added the extra details on the lion, like painting the eyes and doing some blood splatter, which was my first time doing blood splatter, which is a little nerve-wracking because you make this whole entire nice painting and then you try to spray blood on it essentially, but it came out all right. I could have done better. The description of the white lion is that his hands are stained with blood and he has blood all over him essentially because he's just eating people all day. So I did the best I could with that. So let's take a look at the final results. And that is my white lion. Let me know what you guys think. Those are the final results of this entire process. I'm really happy with the way that the fur came out, and I hope that me explaining how I did it helps you paint some fur in the future. I've been painting a lot more and doing a lot more while I've been doing the 75 hard, so I feel like I'm getting better. Let me know down below in the comments if you think that it shows at all. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that you're notified of the next time I release a video. I really appreciate you guys for watching the video. Till next week, peace out.